Good morning, YouTube. Jumpin' Jewel Bean here again. Okay, story 3 from my adventures in Mount Joy, PA. Okay, so I'm sitting on the front porch, drinking coffee, and I see this little squirrel, and it's crawling across the road, pulling its back legs, and I thought, ooh, I wonder what happened to it. So it's over in this grass, and it's playing, and it's eating, but I keep seeing it, and it doesn't seem like it's doing very well. And this was over the Memorial Day weekend. This was on Sunday. So I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to catch it. So then I seen it pull itself up a tree. So I thought, well, it's going up the tree. It's going to its little nest, and there's nothing I can do because, like, let's face it, I'm not climbing a tree. I mean, back in the day, yeah, but we're talking, 40 years ago, not today. So I'm like, oh, crap. So I'm sitting there and I'm drinking coffee and all day long I keep checking on it. And, then it's back down in the grass and it's eating again and stuff. And I'm like, okay, and I keep an eye on it. Because I thought, well, if it's going to pass away, I want to at least give it a decent burial, But I know that I can't chase this thing around. I'm just not able to do that. So I thought, So my girlfriend, Dorjan, stops over with her granddaughter, Elise, and I'm like, look at that poor squirrel. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, I know, right? I said, look at that poor squirrel. And they're like, what can we do? And I'm like, I don't know. So the next day, I see it's still out there. So I call Dorjan and I'm like, do you have a carrier I can use for this squirrel? And she said, well, yes, I do. And I said, well, can I borrow it? I said, because I'm going to catch this squirrel. Well, she starts laughing because she's like, you're really going to catch this squirrel? And I'm like, well, of course I am. So she comes over and she's laughing. She's like, how are you going? I said, not a problem. We're going to do this. It's no problem. And she said, well, what are you going to do with it once we catch it? And I said, I don't know. She said, well, do you know how to take care of a squirrel? And I said, no. No, I don't. Okay, maybe we ought to start calling people and finding out who would take care of the squirrel once we caught it. Because it obviously had injuries, And I'm thinking it's like the back legs are broke. Or its spine, it has the spinal injury or something. And so she starts calling and nobody's answering the phones. So she must have called, I don't know, every place she could think of, all the vets around, everything. But it's Memorial Day by this time. So she's still calling everybody. And I'm like, well, I'm not catching it until we have a place to take it. I said, because how fair is it to put it in a cage and we don't know what to do with it? We don't know how to take care of it. If we at least had somebody to give us care guides, we would be able to do this then. But we don't even have care guides for it. So we decided we weren't going to do that. And then we were like, ugh. So finally she gets a text message that says, we will take your squirrel. Now, the message was from like over in York, and we're in Mount Joy. And I said, well, we'll take it to York. She said, you're really going to drive the whole way to York for a squirrel? And I said, well, I can't just let it die. Now that I know that there's some place who could take care of it, now I have to move forward with it. So I have to do something for this little squirrel. And I'm sure it was probably a full-grown squirrel, but it looked so little and helpless to us. So she went and got a towel. And by the time she got the towel, there was this other woman there, and she was trying to do something, and we walked over, and I had the towel, and her granddaughter had the cage, and this woman's like, oh, are you here to save the squirrel? And I'm like, well, we've been calling around, and we finally found somebody who'll take the squirrel. Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. And I'm like, so we're going to catch it and put it in the cage and take it to the rescue so we can get it medical help. And everybody's like, you're really going to catch the squirrel? What if it bites you? And I said, well, then I've been bit by a squirrel. And they said, but you could get rabies or something. I said, well, it doesn't look like it's sick. It doesn't look like it's not foaming from the mouth or anything. And okay, maybe it's dangerous, but I can't let this poor little animal just suffering. And I can't end its life. That's not who I am. I can't do it. And, so I don't know what else to do but save the thing. And everybody's like, don't you eat like squirrel pot pie and stuff? And I'm like, yes, but somebody else shoots them. And I'm not against hunting for food. I said, but this is an animal that's been hurt, then you fix it, So we caught it and we got it over to York, and it was doing really well for a while. They thought it just had a broken ankle. Later on, they were so good about keeping in touch with us and stuff and letting us know how the squirrel made out. But in the end, it succumbed to traumatic brain injury. So, but that was our good deed that was our good deed. We saved that squirrel. And at least when it did pass away, it had medicine and stuff so that it would not, in agony while it was passing away. So, and that's the story of the squirrel. Okay, love you, YouTube. Talk to you later. Bye.